got a great feeling from Jimmy Lakey. Jimmy Lakey in the morning makes me feel alive. Woke me up this morning, now I'm up and on my way. Oh, 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 yeah, what a great way to start your day, the Lakey way.
Well, this is a fantastic way to start your day, isn't it? Nice to have you here. Jaime Lagos. Jimmy Lakey is my name, behind the microphone and in front of a camera as well. I know that causes some of you to stumble in your walk with the Lord, but please think pure thoughts and holy thoughts, because I'm just a child of God. That's all I am. Don't stumble over this. All right, good to have you here on the program. That's what it's a Wednesday, the 15th day of October, year of our Lord 2025. Pleasure to be here. If you're new to the show, we have new people joining us every day, whether they're watching us on the live stream, on the lots of platforms that we're streaming on, several Facebook feeds, Twitter, X, Rumble, YouTube, wherever you're watching us. We always love to hear from you when you comment in the chat rooms or the comment bars. Those do pop up here in our studio, and producer Chad gets to see those, and occasionally they pop up on the screen. But if you are new to the program, I've been unleashed from the confines of corporate radio, and here we do this little show together, and it is a pleasure to do it. Hello, Chuck. How are you? Dave says good morning on the screen. Morning from foggy Fort Collins. You know, I live in Colorado as well, and I was out early this morning, and it was beautiful. I could see fog in the distance, and then by the time I got into the studio and got to the studio, I looked out and it had fogged up. So the fog was following me, I guess, as I anyway, it's foggy outside. Anyway, good to have all of you here on the program, Unleashed from the confines of corporate radio. We are nearing the 1-year anniversary, about a month away from the 1-year anniversary of my departure and or booting or ousting from the iHeart Kingdom. And I don't know if we should throw a party on that day or a celebration. We'll think of a way to celebrate that, but we should do that. We should find a way to commemorate the 1-year departure from the iHeart Kingdom. Also, we should also know that iHeart still so dysfunctional. They're still running promos for my show. I still, honest to God, hear promos for my show. I scan the dial. I have ADD in the car. I'm like, oh, I don't like that song. I don't like this. Oh, let's go to AM. I'm just all over the place. And occasionally I still hear my name, that you can hear my show on a certain station, and you cannot. But, they're just laziness affects everybody at times, and complacency and poor quality is just, it's a plague. It is a plague out there. All right, the 15th day of October, year of our Lord 2025. Big time news this morning. We watched the Charlie Kirk Memorial yesterday, not the memorial, but the commemoration of the Medal of Freedom. I want to talk more about that. The headlines are Charlie Kirk received the Presidential Medal of Freedom, in which I have the video I'll play for you in just a moment. His wife, widow Erica, said that probably Charlie would have run for president one day. A lot of us speculated that, but no, Erica said it yesterday, and I have the video of that. We'll come back to that. Also, Congress, if you want to talk about corruption, if you want to talk about nasty people, they were investigating January the Sixers, right? Letitia James, don't look at her. James Comey, don't look at her. But all those people that stood there and supported Donald Trump peacefully, walked in the Capitol, they looked at everybody's data. 30 million lines of data were pulled from companies and subpoenaed from companies regarding the J6 investigation. So no one's above the law except Letitia James, James Comey, and bureaucrats in Washington. But Trump supporters in D.C. on January the 6th, you're not above the law, and they will violate your civil liberties in order to make sure that you are not above the law. Remember yesterday we had some great guests. If you missed yesterday's show, you want to go back and listen to it. We had two different guests, bookended the show, basically talking about variations on the theme, the same topic of who's funding all of these rioters, who's funding all these protesters, where are they coming from? How do you protest 100 days straight? Who has 100 days of PTO or vacation time? Who has all that? And evidently these protesters do. Well, we talked to two different authors yesterday, and you want to go back and listen to that and hear it and understand what is happening in our country. And what is happening is we are being run by global elites, and I guess you could say set up by global elites who are fanning the flames of fervor and the streets and violence, and somehow they're getting paid to do it. It's all outlined yesterday. If you missed it, go back and we'll listen to the show. Seamus Bruner was on the show. He's written a book called Controligarchs, and then bookending on the other end, you had Scott Walker, who wrote the book called Arabella, the Dark Money Network of Leftist Billionaires. So we do have these organizations that you might not have ever heard of that are funding a lot of this unrest and this civil disobedience and this hatred and this vitriol that's out there. Sometimes you think, wow, we lost a whole generation. No, a lot of these people are paid protesters. If you walk up and say, what do you think about this topic? They couldn't give you an argument about it. We just feel that way because we feel that way. It's because they're getting some payment to do that. Well, it's not just Seamus. It's not just Seamus and Scott, my guest yesterday, Seamus Bruner and Scott Walter, that have written books about it. There is now a move in Congress that maybe we should look at some of these shadowy organizations and we should investigate them. For instance, you have two members of the Congress that are asking that maybe we should look at the Council of American Islamic Relations. Have you heard of that organization? It's not a secret organization at all. It's one that has been operating in full sight for the longest time. But now you have Republicans claiming that the leadership attended a Philadelphia meeting of the Muslim Brotherhood Palestine Committee in 1993, where members discussed Hamas despite it being labeled as a foreign terrorist organization. So House Republican leadership, Chairwoman Elise Stefanik, on Tuesday, that was yesterday, has urged Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent to open a probe into the funding for the Council on American Islamic Relationships. It's also known as CAIR, CARE, to ensure that it's not funded by Hamas or other terrorist organizations. Stefanik and Senate Republican Conference Chair Tom Cotton from Arkansas is urging the investigation in a joint letter from the House and the Senate. They are accusing the Council of American Islamic Relations executive director of previously leading this Association for Palestine, and they claim authorities have identified propaganda front for Hamas. So is there an organization that the American left aligns with, the Democrat Party aligns with, and they depend on, that has actually been serving right under our nose as a propaganda front for the Hamas terrorist organizations? Cotton and Stefanik also claimed that CARE's leadership attended a Philadelphia meeting of the Muslim Brotherhood Palestine Committee in 1993, and at that meeting in 93, the members discussed supporting Hamas despite it being labeled as a foreign terrorist organization. And in the letter, they say these foundational connections, coupled with CARE's conduct following the October 7th, 2023 attack, merit renewed scrutiny of the organization. CARE has focused its efforts on supporting anti-Israel campus protests. While peaceful protest is protected, many of these demonstrations have led to incidents of anti-Semitic harassment and violence. So tying up with my interviews yesterday about organizations you haven't heard of that may have ties to global elites, an organization that many of you have heard of that possibly could have been running as a front propaganda arm for Hamas and hiding out here in the nation. So watch out for this investigation that is coming, investigation of the American Council of American Islamic Relations. And again, if you did miss yesterday's interviews, I would go back and listen to the show. Now, if you don't want to watch the whole thing, you don't want to see it, you can go back and listen to it. You can go back and listen to it on all the podcast platforms. The podcast downloads and likes are doing phenomenal. Producer Chad and I reviewed some numbers yesterday, and it's looking good. So go back and listen to the interviews. The first interview and the last interview I did on yesterday's show, Scott Walter and Seamus Bruner, and they both talk about the same topic. And now we have Stefanik and Cotton jumping in on an organization that maybe you haven't heard of, or you have heard of. And that's something that needs to be discussed as well. All right, good morning. A lot of you checking in. I see Warsaw, Missouri. That's a new one out there. Good morning from DIA. That would be Denver International Airport. If it's as foggy at Denver International Airport as it is at the Lakey Entertainment Towers, my goodness, you could have some flight delays. You might want to check those out before you go. Okay, well, let me get into this Charlie Kirk thing. I think this is just a great part, and I know you might have watched the news last night and seen some of the video. I saw a very touching video in which after the White House cut off the pool feed and they no longer covered it live, some of the reporters still had a camera going, and you see President Trump step off to his right off the stage, and he goes to a beautiful backhands of a couple, and it was identified as a father, Donald Trump, going down to console and yet congratulate Charlie Kirk's parents. They have totally stayed out of the spotlight. Somebody said, were they even at the memorial? I don't know if they were there. They do not want the spotlight. I've heard interviews that they never wanted the spotlight. Charlie was the spot guy. They were just a meek, mild, humble parents that raised a fireball, and probably there was no formula. A lot of that was just the hand of God. I mean, it's just he was a very calm family, and Charlie came out of that. Well, I saw the back of the heads, and I believe this is the photo of his parents, and you can imagine the grief. They have not wanted the cameras on it. This is the first time I know, but I believe this is Charlie's parents. He was awarded the Medal of Freedom posthumously yesterday, and Erica made that speech. So I always say this, it's good to kind of think we have news stories that pop up, and then we forget about them, right? We have news stories that pop up about these hostages that were in Gaza, and we're celebrating. But these people are long-term recovery, and it's good to just kind of write a list of things that you can kind of revisit in prayer on occasion. Maybe don't be every day on your list, but just sometime you go back and pray for those hostages as they reinstitute and re-engage in life, and try to recover and get back to some sense of normalcy after great torture. Well, it's also easy to talk a big game about Charlie Kirk and TP USA, Turning Point USA, and Never Again, and We're All Charlie, and yet the news cycles move on, and we forget about those things. And I would encourage you on that same list that you might want to write down Charlie's parents, Charlie's daughter and son, Charlie's wife, Erica, and occasionally Turning Point USA, come back and pray for those people and all the people that have said we're starting these campus groups. It'd be fantastic if all of us just continue to pray for them. Now, this is, of course, Erica at the White House yesterday receiving the Charlie Kirk Medal of Freedom. I heard last night on the news, I don't know if I didn't hear it this morning, I just heard one news story on it last night, that this is the first ever Medal of Freedom that if you flip it around, there's video of Erica Kirk, the widow of Charlie, flipping it around, and it says Charlie's full name, first, middle, and last name. And right above that, there's a cross that has also been engraved. And it is the first Medal of Freedom in American history that has had any kind of religious icon or imagery on it. It's a groundbreaking thing. But President Trump wanted the cross on there, the cross of Christ, the crucifix. He wanted that on there so that it would be a reminder that Charlie died for his faith, and he was most passionate about his faith. Yes, he loved the Constitution, he loved God, and he loved country, but this Medal of Freedom actually has a cross on it. You can look it up. I did not have time to grab that photo of it, but there's a photo of the cross on that, and she was making it very clear. Erica made it clear yesterday, and the news story made it clear that is the first time ever that a cross or any religious imagery or icon has been put on there. It's usually just a name, and that's it. Medal of Freedom, boom, here you go. But this got the cross, and I'm sure that was a great honor. It also was an interesting line where Erica Trump said since she's been with Charlie 7.5 years, she's always looking for the right birthday present, always searching for a birthday present for Charlie. And yesterday, she thinks she finally found one, the Medal of Freedom, on his 32nd birthday. All right, we'll continue to talk about that. And I got a question of the day about your fears and angst and anxieties. I want to tease it, then I want to play some more Charlie Kirk ceremony here. How many of you are afraid of something? Afraid of the dark? Afraid of spiders? Afraid of heights? I mean, what are your fears out there? I got a survey here that says a lot of folks are afraid of the dark still. 29% of Americans say, yes, I am afraid of the dark. Absolutely afraid of the dark. Now, that could have various levels. We'll get into that. But I want you to kind of think about it. We're going to all confess together. What are you afraid of? And do you have any great fears and trepidations? And we'll talk about those here in just a moment. All right, we talked about the future that Charlie Kirk could have had in this country. He was talked about a month ago, maybe one day going to be the president. And that was just, you think, well, that's just people in memoriam saying nice things about Charlie Kirk. And, he rightfully deserved a lot of stuff. And a lot of folks have watched the reels that have a lot of people that are never familiar with Charlie Kirk have now seen Charlie Kirk. They know what he was doing. They understand Turning Point USA a little bit better. And they say, wow, that guy could have been president. Well, this was something I didn't see this played on the news last night because they played the stories about his daughter and the birthday clip. But this is Erica Erica Kirk yesterday at the White House in the Rose Garden with friends and family gathered, in which he talked about possibly Charlie might have actually run for president. It wasn't just something that was said during his memorial time and after the assassination. It was something that was actually a realistic possibility that this murderous demon in Utah took out a future president of the United States. Watch this.
Confidence in Christ was absolute. That's why.
Back that up. That didn't start at the beginning.
Because his confidence in Christ was absolute.
Okay, it did.
That's why. There was no limit to what he would have sacrificed to defend freedom for all. And if the moment had come, he probably would have run for president, but not out of ambition. He would only have done it if that was something that he believed that his country needed from a servant's heart standpoint. And Charlie lived only 31 short years.
So then she says, out of an act of service, he probably would have run for president one day if he felt the nation needed it, which is the same thing that Donald Trump did. He felt the nation needed it and said, I'm going to jump in here on my own. So anyway, it's always fascinating to see how the enemy, which is we don't, again, always go back to the premise that I operate from. You're not wrestling against flesh and blood. You're not wrestling against an assassin's bullet. There's some kind of a spiritual warfare that's going on. It's called the unseen realm, and it's happening out there all around us. And think of what the American left and or the crazies out there have done. If Charlie Kirk was murdered and maybe he was a potential or maybe a future U.S. president, they take him out by the gun, right? They take him out by the gun, the bullet, the assassin, the hatred, the vitriol, so that you can kill a future president or future potential president or a future at least national leader. You got to wipe them out when they're young, right? But what happens is the enemy strategy is always to take out the young. This is why you see at the time of Moses. Remember the time of Moses? All the edict came down from the Pharaoh that all the boys were to be killed, and Moses was hidden away because all the boys were killed and because they were afraid of a threat during the days of Jesus. If you remember, Jesus's family had to flee the area because there had been a rendering come down that all the boys under 3 years old or so should be murdered and killed because they're always afraid of competition. And so the enemy is always looking to take out the young, and they can do that by decrees from pharaohs and Caesars and by powerful political figures. They can do that at the end of an assassination gun, or they can also do that in the abortion clinic. If Charlie Kirk was assassinated, a future potential president, how many people, potential future presidents, doctors, lawyers, scholars, and really world-changing kids have been left in the garbage dumpster at the Planned Parenthood clinic? So always recognize the scheme of the enemy, because we don't wrestle against flesh and blood, but powers and principalities. Always recognize that the scheme of the enemy is always to take out you when you're young. This is why I said, and it was controversial after the Columbine High School shooting in 1999. I was just kind of dabbing my toes into the world of talk radio back then. I was still doing music radio, but I had a show that I was doing late nights in which we were actually doing a little talk. And I said, the real sad thing, Bill Clinton came to town that day at the Littleton, Colorado movie theater. They stood on the steps there. They had a big rally. That's the highest point they could do, the steps across the street from Clement Park and Columbine High School. And I said, he's talking about what a tragedy this is. But the problem is, in that party, that political party, here's a dose of reality. Had any of those kids at Columbine died in the abortion clinic before they were ever born, coming through the birth canal, that would have been celebrated a choice. But because he died in the school, we call it a tragedy. It's either a tragedy or it's not a tragedy. And you can overlay that juxtaposition on any of these topics we're talking about, that if they didn't get Charlie in Planned Parenthood, they're going to get him at the end of a bullet, because that is a person that after God's own heart could have made a big difference. So anyway, we commemorate Charlie. And again, make sure you have Erica, Turning Point, the kids, his parents on that prayer list. But there you have Erica herself saying there's potential that he would have run for the presidency one day. All right, let's get to a fun topic here. Our question of the day. I've got one statement and one question. We know who you are. We know who you are. 23% of men, I'm talking to you, we know who you are cool with leaving the restroom without washing their hands. Ladies, these are disgusting fellows. In a new survey, it's, by the way, Global Hand Washing Day. It's time to celebrate that we wash our hands, right? Just 7 years ago, we were all taught to wash our hands in the bathroom. And I thought it was a big deal when the COVID, they're teaching people to wash their hands. I'm like, didn't you wash your hands already? But they made it a big deal. Well, in a new survey, 77% of Americans say they see other people leave the restrooms without washing their hands. That's up from last year, but 68% said they see people do it. Usually men, 85% of women report always washing their hands after their toilet duties. Men, only 77% of men actually can wash their hands, and that means 23% of men are perfectly fine walking out and not washing their hands. Also, 75% of fathers are satisfied that their kids wash their hands enough, but only half of mothers agree on that. 93% of Americans say hand washing is important to maintain health, and yet 23% of men are cool leaving the bathroom, don't washing your hands. Guys, I am not going to have a question of the day, do you wash your hands after you go toilet? Because no one's going to confess to that grossness, but wash your hands after you go toilet. And you know what I find out? I find sometimes that if you go into a bathroom or a restroom after someone else, you're waiting patiently, and you go in and you do your business, and you are now going to wash your hands, and you look at the sink, telltale sign, people, you look at the sink, and the sink is bone dry. There is not a splash of water in that sink. There's no splash of water. You grab the hand towel, you're like, that's dry as well. What did they do? They didn't wash their hands. So anyway, wash your hands, people. It's National Hand Washing Day, and don't be gross. All right, don't be gross. Ladies, careful. Those guys are nasty. And ladies, you're guilty as well. There's some of you that are walking out without proper sanitization of your hands, and you should do that. All right, what are you afraid of? What are you still afraid of? Anybody remember as a kid? I think I had a normal fear of the dark as a kid. A normal fear of the dark. I wasn't afraid to have the door closed when I sleep, and I didn't like. I remember as a kid, I wanted to have the closet door closed in a walk-in closet as a child, and I wanted to have that door closed because sometimes the shadows would look weird. But I wasn't necessarily afraid. I don't remember fearing monsters under the bed. I don't think I had an abnormal fear of the dark or anything like that. I think it was pretty normal. I think a lot of kids say, that's dark. And I remember I'd have to go to my room. There's a hallway leading to my room as a kid. And I remember if I had to get up, I'd turn all the lights on all the way down the hall. I don't think that was abnormal. I think that was just kind of a basic, I still do that when I come to my house. If the light's out, I want to go upstairs. I turn the lights on as I go. So, but is anybody out there still afraid of the dark? What are your childhood fears? Some childhood fears are really silly to look back on, like having monsters living on your bed, but others can continue. This is a news story to haunt us into adulthood. Clowns, the basement. Some people have a fear of vegetables. I don't know what that means, but they do. In a new survey, 29% of Americans admit that they are still afraid of the dark. In fact, 24% say they sleep with a nightlight. 10% prefer to sleep with the lights on, and men are more likely to admit this than a woman. Now, I will say, I don't think it's a fear of the dark. I do have a little claustrophobia that kind of goes on, and I like fresh air. And I like some people go to a hotel room and they want the blackout curtains or something. I don't like that. I want some natural lights. I want to see the cycle of the sun come up. I don't do the blackout stuff. It's not that I'm afraid of it. It's more claustrophobia. It's not like I'm afraid I'm going to get a monster get me, but I just don't like it. It's not comfortable to me. I like kind of a natural, in the morning, if I'm in bed and the sun's coming up, I want the natural glow, the circadian rhythms, if you will, to hit me. But what are you still afraid of? Here's another story. 28% of people say they love watching horror movies, and some people enjoy being scared, and there could be some overlap between the people who like horror movies but people who are afraid of the dark. Now, see, I don't purposely go out. It's Halloween season. I don't never have purposely go out and watch a scary movie. I don't get a thrill out of that. Maybe some of you do get a thrill out of being scared or watching some slasher film. I never do. And I don't think I have an abnormal fear of the dark or anything, but I don't enjoy the fear emotion or the adrenaline. Men are more likely to love the horror movies than women, 33% to 24%, but men are also likely to admit having nightmares after watching a scary movie. 28% of people say they're more likely to wake up in the middle of the night after watching a horror movie. 22% say they're more likely to have worse sleep after watching a horror movie. 12% say they're more likely to sleep for fewer hours after watching a horror movie. But 29% of Americans say their top fear that came in from childhood is the fear of the dark. Let me ask you, how many of you are afraid of the dark? And again, I don't think I'm afraid of the dark. If you got to get up for some reason, I don't mind a little night light or some glow in the room. It's a dark room, but I'm not a blackout blind kind of person. I'm not, but that's not a fear. That's more of an anxiety of it. I just want to be able to see it's kind of like being on the bottom level of a cruise ship. I don't want to do it. I want the window, even a support hole, prefer the balcony or the suite. But if I ever on a cruise ship, I don't want a windowless room, and I don't like window like that to sleep in. I want to be able to do that. So anyway, your question, the question is, your answers are welcome. What are you afraid of? And do you have this fear and trepidation of the dark? 29% of Americans say they're still afraid of the dark. I will say that at times I will take my dog walking at night, and if I'm out walking, it's not that I'm afraid of the dark. I'm afraid of what's in the dark, and it could be a coyote, it could be a wolf, it could be it probably wouldn't be a wolf. It could be some kind of a creature out there that wants to get me, and so I don't like necessarily walking down a dark sidewalk at night. I'm not really afraid of slashers coming out in the area where I live at. It's always possible, but that's not a fear of the dark. That's kind of what's in the dark. But an actual fear of the dark, I don't think I ever had. Some of you have seen pop up on the screens here clowns a couple of times. I'm not afraid of clowns, but I haven't told you the story of the clowns. I was doing country music radio. I had just launched the Lakey Entertainment Company, and we were doing summer camps and conferences, and I had a couple of months free, and I got asked by a guy that thought I had a nice voice to do a radio show, which I'd never done radio. That's kind of what started the whole journey. And I was doing radio. Anyway, I was doing radio in this little it's a country music station, waiting for my summer camps to begin and my conferences that I was starting. So I just had some spare time in a strange city, right? And launching this up in the mountains. And so I did a country music radio show. And one morning I opened up the station early, and the studio went in early. And I looked up, and through the glass door of the studio was a guy dressed up as a clown staring at me at about 6:15 in the morning. It's still dark out. That did not make me happy, and that guy had decided he was a big fan, and he was on the way to the local rodeo. I guess a rodeo clown, either getting off work or going. I don't know why he's going to work early, and he brought me homemade breakfast. I did not eat that, obviously for obvious reasons. I don't know what was in it, but it was a clown staring at me through the glass at 6:15 in the morning. And I'm thinking, this is it. I'm going out like a slasher film here, and I'm going to be killed behind a microphone with the mic open, screaming and yelling for my life while I'm being slashed by the rodeo clown. But he didn't hurt me. He brought some muffins or something, and I wasn't going to touch them. No way. I wasn't going to. The clowns. I wouldn't say I'm afraid of a clown, but in that situation, the clown scared me. All right. Jim says the question of the day: what are you afraid of? With 29% of Americans saying they're still afraid of the dark. Honest, if they confess, spiders and centipedes, insects with 8 legs or arms. Jim doesn't like that. I've seen a couple of people say the spiders. I saw Kevin said the spiders as well. Spiders are made for squishing. They don't bother me. I would say a mouse. I don't like those little things. They move too quickly. And on those rare occasions, back when I first moved into the home I live in now, there was a lot of vacant construction and fields going on, building up neighborhoods and things. And of course, all the field mice were looking for places to go because all this big machinery. And all of the neighbors, we would all have a mouse or two that would get in the house. I wouldn't say an infestation, but we had a mouse that got into the house, and I put out the traps, and I didn't know whether I was going to snap his head off or get him on the sticky pad. I didn't care. But I had started the Lakey Entertainment Company. We were doing music, and I actually had one of my employees' job is when we caught the mouse, he got a $25 gift card or something to come get the mouse out of the trap and get rid of it. So I don't like mice. No, thank you. Not going to do the mouse thing. Yeah, that's probably as close as it gets. Some of you probably have the same thing about spiders as you do mice. As I do mice. I don't like that. But dark, I'm not bothered by it. Again, claustrophobia sets in if it's pitch black. I don't like that. But that's not a fear of the dark. It's just like I want to be able to see the horizon. Okay, I want to be able to see. I couldn't live in Seattle. It's too dark all the time. It's foggy here out the window here, the Lakey Entertainment Towers. It's very foggy. And if I was locked into fog for many days on it, I'd probably go nuts in the head, nuttier than I am, because I like the horizon. All right, your fears, it's time to confess them. Get them out of the table. What are you afraid of? And how many of you have a fear of all these things that you're talking about, and yet during the Halloween season, you're going to sit down and watch some fearful movie, Friday the 13th, numbers 12 or whatever they are. So anyway, 29% of Americans still afraid of the dark. Let me hear from you as well. All right, good to have all of you here on the show. We got our first guest of the morning, Mr. John Gordon, the Truth with John Gordon host. But before we do, I want to remind you that there's many ways you can give to our charitable organization and support the work that we do in charity. And one of those is we have a sweepstakes going on right now. You go to win.riverspromise.org. It's on your screen, win.riverspromise.org. Ladies and gentlemen, I am going to show you a quick video, a snippet of the actual vehicle that we're giving away in the sweepstakes. You have until sometime mid-December to get these sweepstakes entries in there. All the donations, proceeds benefit Rivers Promise, our charity in Rwanda. Go to win.riverspromise.org, available in all 50 states here. You can do that, but I'm actually going to show you this. I'm sitting in the video. I'm sitting in the actual Ford Bronco Raptor Edition. That's the key. It's a Raptor Edition. I'm sitting in it, and we're going to give this thing away. And roll the tape, please.
Climbing a rock or driving in the snow or going to the grocery store, you look great in
I lost it.
Ford Bronco Raptor. Hi, I'm Jimmy Lakey, founder of Rivers Promise, and we're giving away this very vehicle. I have the keys right here. I'd love to give it to you. Enter the sweepstakes below. All the proceeds are going to help benefit Rivers Promise and our great work with children. Enter the sweepstakes below, and maybe I can hand you the keys real soon. Enter to win. Click below.
Yeah, you can't click, but you can type it, win.riverspromise.org, win.riverspromise.org. Get your entries in, and maybe I'll get to hand you the keys to that Ford Bronco Raptor. It's a good-looking car, man. I'm telling you, I wish I was eligible to win. I'd be registering every day for this thing. And again, it's a great, fun way. Pass the word, if you will. Pass the word, pass it to your friends and say, here's a great sweepstakes and a great cause. And somebody's going to win that thing, and it's going to be fun. It's going to be a good day. All right, ladies and gentlemen, let's go to our first guest, John Gordon. He's been on the program before. He's the host with The Truth with John Gordon, and he's in his studio. I'm in my studio. John Gordon, good morning, sir. How are you?
Great, Jimmy. Nice to be back with you. Is it win.promise.org?
Win.riverspromise.org. Win, W-I-N. Rivers, R-I-V-E-R-S.
Promise.org. I've got it. I'm going to enter. How much is it going to cost me?
You pick the amount. It doesn't cost you $1 or $2. And it depends on how many sweepstakes entries you want, sir. It's not going to cost you much at all. Yeah.
Well, I like that. I like those wheels. That would be
a cool car. Yeah, it's
no doubt. And as you said, a great cause. Well, I'm afraid of liberal, rabid, leftist Democrats. And I'll take a rat any day of the week over them. They are out to destroy this country. And, it's not Republican versus Democrat. It's not liberal versus conservative. It is, in my belief, haves versus the have-nots. And the have-nots are looking at what you and I have got, because we started working at a young age. We saved, we risked, we invested, and we benefited. And now we've got a nest egg, and they want to come and get it. And it is just wrong as wrong can be. And I tell you, these people in New York, they are going to be sadly disappointed when they end up and Mondavi is their mayor. There will be a mass exodus, because with communism comes fascism. And they are going to control the people of New York like they've never been controlled before. And then they'll try and figure out some way to explain their behavior for having voted this creep into office.
We had this historic deal in the Middle East this week, and it is fascinating that these people that were screaming, free Palestine, the people of Gaza are wonderful, don't be mean to Hamas, stop bombing them. Well, now Donald Trump has, quote, freed Palestine, and those squad members in the left, those commies, have gone very quiet. And the people that they thought were maybe being wrongfully attacked, these Hamas members are now shooting and executing people in cold blood in the middle of the streets that they thought might have cooperated with Israel. The left finds themselves on bad parts of both sides of this issue. You've got the innocent people of the Gaza strips chanting Trump, Trump, Trump. You've got the Israelis shouting Trump, Trump, Trump. You got Egypt, Saudi Arabia, all these people going Trump. What a great world leader. it seems like the only people that are still pissed off and have the Trump derangement syndrome are Hamas, terrorist groups, and the American Democrat Party. I mean, it's really fascinating to watch who they've allied themselves with.
Well, it is disappointing, but not surprising to me. When Robert Kraft went to Russia and he met Vladimir Putin, to me, that meeting showed everything, because Putin asked to see his Super Bowl ring. He took it, put it on his finger, and then proceeded to put it in his pocket and walked off. He stole Robert Kraft's Super Bowl ring. Well, you knew that when you were handing him the ring, just like you knew that Hamas was not going to honor their promise to weaponize and to play nice. It's not in their DNA. They are violent, despicable people to their core, and a piece of paper has no impact on them whatsoever. But they did return 20 hostages. Thank the Lord for that. Now they say they can't find the remains of the people that they took hostage and then killed. Of course, what the mainstream media does not report, and I think it is fair to point out that, Hamas had, I think at the high watermark, 250 hostages.
Yeah.
I believe that's the right number of ballpark. But Israel had 2,000 Palestinians. Sometimes it really is hard to figure out who has the white hat. But the thing that I keep coming back to from my own perspective is October the 7th. They killed hundreds of innocent people at a pop festival inside of Israel. And then they proceeded to capture hostages, and they proceeded to behead little children and pregnant women and mistreat legions of people. So I can't garner up sympathy for Hamas. I don't know where Hamas ends and the Palestinian people pick up, if you understand what I'm saying. I think the Palestinians have for decades been denied, persecuted, isolated, and they have been subjected to the greatest poverty on earth. As a human being, I have compassion for that. But Hamas deprives me of being able to have any compassion for any of them, because the Palestinian people need to, at this point, stand up and say, no, Hamas does not speak for us. They are not a legitimate government. Get the hell out of here. That's what needs to happen.
And you hope that this peace deal, knowing that it was signed in Egypt, you got Egypt, Saudi Arabia, all the Arab countries over there, they're the ones that could actually handle this Hamas situation. They're the ones that need to step up. And I don't know if they will. I know there's been executions of people that Hamas viewed as political enemies, their own people that have been killing them on the streets. And I'm not sure if Egypt is doing anything about that, but that's where this answer has to come from. The Palestinian people that maybe don't know how or have the ability to get rid of their occupiers or this terrorist party, they need some help. And Egypt doesn't like Hamas. They're clowns from from Iran. So hopefully these Arab countries now being brought into this mix with Donald Trump and kind of feeling partnered with this thing will help Hamas be dispatched to this ash heap of history, and the Palestinian people that do want freedom to find some kind of relative freedom. But it's going to take the Arab countries to do this.
Well, Donald Trump said that Hamas has got to de-arm like they promised to do, or else he would do it for them. I don't really know what that means, but that, to me, signals a very short-lived peace accord. And maybe what is going to be required. I was on the air this morning in Long Island, and we were talking about this very issue. 450 miles of tunnels. How do you intervene with that? How do you shut down those tunnels? Shutting down the tunnels would go a long way, just like the rats you were talking about, forcing them out into the daylight. So maybe it will come to an Iran type situation where we just go in and we drop 3 or 4 really powerful bombs. We obliterate those tunnels, or at least the junctions of those tunnels, and we force these people out into the open. I think that is something that I could get behind.
Yeah. There was at one point early on in the war, I remember they were talking about flooding those tunnels, just dumping water from the sea through there, but then they're afraid that the hostages.
Yeah, I love it. The hostages are out now.
Yeah, the hostages are out. Just
let the waters flow.
Yeah, let it go, baby. Let it go. And we'll watch rats and terrorists float out of there. Let's back off the actual.
If you can distinguish the two.
Yeah, I don't know if you can. Let's back off just the actual policy here. But what we witnessed, it is really, I think, undeniable that I don't know if there's another force in history on the planet now, maybe in American history, that could have pulled this off. Are we giving Donald Trump too much credit, too little credit? It was the sheer will and determination that, I mean, think of this. He spoke at the Knesset in Israel in front of a Jewish nation. And within 1 hour, he was on the plane and being welcomed with the same accolades and chants of Trump in the Arab nations in Egypt. I mean, that is just the conflict between the Jews and the Arabs and the Muslims. He's being warmly received by both groups there. The Egyptians and Israelis welcomed him in within an hour of each other, both with the hero's welcome. Talk about this Donald Trump phenomenon. Are we overstating it, understating it?
No, you can't. You're not overstating it. I mean, I think what he has done is phenomenal. I think it is really more of a beginning than an ending, frankly, because you've got to have both parties behaving and coming to the table in good faith, with goodwill. And what's written on the paper and what actually gets done, as we're seeing played out right now, just a matter of hours really after the deal was signed, is alarming. So, but he staked his political capital on it. He invested huge amounts of his own time working on it. This man is someone that I admire as much as anyone in history, frankly, because he is smart, he is tough, but there's one thing that he doesn't get credit for that he should, or recognition for, and that is his work ethic. I mean, he's pushing 80 and he is literally working 15 and 18 hours a day for the American people. And what does he get out of the deal? He gives his salary to charity, or at least he did in the first administration. I assume he continues to do that. And he gets a lot of grief from the crazed on the left who, like we were seeing, and Donald Trump called it when he went and addressed the Congress. He said, I could announce a cure for cancer and they wouldn't applaud.
Yeah.
And we're seeing that play out in real time now with the peacemaking that he has effectuated. If you count this one, he has ended skirmishes in 8 separate definable actions. And so it is unprecedented. And I just am so grateful for everything that he has done for the American people and continues to do. And I don't think that the American people really realize just what we are in for over the remaining 3 years of the Trump term. Yeah. While he is bringing peace abroad, and he's trying to play nice with our adversaries as much as they will permit him to. But go
ahead.
Yeah. Well, I'm sorry. I know I'm on a bit of a tangent here, but the point I'm trying to get to is that while he's bringing peace to the world and he's bringing order to the world, he has already remade the United States economy. And I don't think most people even have a smattering of appreciation for what is coming. And he has embraced crypto and AI. Meanwhile, he has passed a big, beautiful bill. He has finally brought Jerome Powell and the Fed to the party, and they've reduced interest rates. We've got somewhere between 600 and 750 billion with a B in newfound tariff revenue. And he has gone around the world and gotten people to agree to invest $15 trillion in the United States. And he's bringing back manufacturing to our country. Now, interest rates have got further to fall. I think it is going to be mind-boggling. And I am so excited to be alive, and I hope that I've got more runway left.
Yep.
Because I think what is coming is going to be unlike anything that mankind has ever experienced. It's not hyperbole. I'm a salesman, but I'm not puffing. It's what my eyes, ears, and brain are telling me at every turn.
The host of The Truth of John Gordon will talk about how you can listen to his show. Coming up, John Gordon is my guest here. John, very quickly talking about the economy's possibly set to boom. I hope it does. I believe it shall. And the force of nature he is on this foreign policy, ending wars and conflicts. Along those lines, does anybody notice that the government shut down? I mean, it's the government shut down, and I think the longer this goes, the less it plays in the Democrats' hand. We have to have the government. We have to have the government. Unless you're receiving a paycheck from the government, the average citizen's like, oh, it's been shut 3 weeks, and I didn't really have any clue that it affected me in any way. Does this government shutdown, how do you think it ends, and how do you think it's going?
Well, the only thing I'm missing as a result of the government shutdown are the prosecutors in Virginia that are going after James Comey. I hope they will include Obama, Clinton, Clapper, who are the other characters? Christopher Wray. Oh, we didn't have any assets at January the 6th. Oh, well, I misspoke. Seems like maybe we got 26 and it turned out to be 256.
Yeah.
I still want to know who Ray Epps, whose payroll was he on? It would be so simple. Just drag his ass before Congress, subpoena his bank records, and we'd know. And I asked Jim, the head of the Judiciary Committee,
Jordan.
I'm sorry?
Jim Jordan.
Jim Jordan. I asked him to his face over dinner one night with a dozen other people why he had not done that. And to my disappointment, he did not answer the question. He filibustered and talked about how he had been more aggressive about subpoenaing people before the judiciary than any chairman in the past. And I already had made it kind of an uncomfortable, tense situation. I wanted to follow it up and say, well, so Ray Epps, are you going to subpoena him and his records or not? And I just opted not to because I wanted to get invited back. Shame on me.
John Gordon, if somebody wants to follow you, your show, I know you're on radio, you're on the podcast, you're on the streams. How do they find you, John?
Well, we're all over social media on YouTube and X and Facebook and Rumble and Getter. We also have our own page. You can check us out at johngordon.tv. All of our episodes are put up there. And you can listen every Saturday, and we'd invite you to come and listen to us on the John Fredericks Radio Network up and down the East Coast. You can also catch our live stream between 12 and 2 every Saturday and Sunday on John Fredericks over the Get Rumble and Getter and YouTube live streams. So lots of opportunities to come and join us. We have a very dedicated, loyal audience. I just wish it was bigger because I feel like I've got something to say, Jimmy.
Yeah. The Truth with John Gordon. There's the main website there, johngordon.tv. All the information you want there, johngordon.tv. John, thanks for hopping on, my friend, and go register, win a Ford Bronco Raptor, win.riverspromise.org. John Gordon TV, they're .tv, johngordon.tv. Go check out that site, and you can listen to John Gordon when you're not listening to me, johngordon.tv. Let me remind you, my friends, it's fall here in Colorado. It's the clouds, the fall, the leaves are turning here where I live, and it's we get all 4 seasons, and I didn't get that growing up in Texas. Oftentimes, very beautiful, distinct changes of seasons. So it's always beautiful. I love the fall here. But the fall also means the holidays are coming. And sometimes when the holidays start to come, guess what? You're like, well, I guess we didn't get the house fixed up. We didn't get the house done. We didn't do, we got to sell next spring. You know, we got projects to do, right? Listen, selling a home is not just making a call and flipping a sign up in a yard. There's some strategy. It's timing, it's issues, pricing. It's just knowing exactly not just what works with the market. The market's here, but your family schedule's here, and you're trying to make it all work out. And listen, there's some strategy that needs involved, and you need a quarterback of the team. You need a general manager. You need somebody that can help you put all those places, all those pieces together. I was reading a post by Sherry Cree just the other day in which she had a distressed home because an elderly parent had lived in it. It had been neglected, not upkept. The family wanted to get it sold, and she goes through all the details of all the things that they had to do, and it was an overwhelming number of things to get that house even ready to be sold. And the family members, like, it's overwhelming. We don't know what to do. And Sherry stepped in and said, I'll help you. We're getting listed. And Sherry has contacts with the cleaners. She has contacts with the carpet, the flooring people. She had the roofing repairs done. She orchestrated all of that to get that thing ready to sell. And then they're listening. She says there's still some work cosmetic that needs to be done, but all the major stuff has been done. Before she listed it, Sherry made sure that they did a plumbing inspection and found a big bulge or something in the plumbing pipes out by the driveway, had to chop up part of the driveway and get that fixed. She helped all the contractors get there, put it all together, quarterbacked it, knowing these things had to be done so that it could pass inspection to be sold. Sherry handled all that. Listen, it can be stressful, it can be overwhelming. You've got family, you've got soccer practice, you've got grandkids, you've got holidays, but you know the selling time is coming. Talk to Sherry. Have that strategy session with Sherry and what needs to be done. It's not just the pricing. It can be the staging. It can be the repairs. It can be things that you think you want to invest money in now. She said, don't put money in that right now because the new owner is going to want to change that themselves. And there's other things you may say, I didn't want to put money in that. She said, no, you got to put money in that. Listen, there's strategy. Homeswithsherry.com. Homeswithsherry.com. Don't forget, she gives a portion of all the proceeds of her commission on every transaction to a charity that you choose. You want to give it to Rivers Promise? Boom. Want to give it to the Red Cross? Boom. She'll give a portion of her proceeds to the charity of your choice. You owe it to yourself. I know the holiday season's coming in, and you're like, I'll deal with that later. No, listen, if you're thinking of selling this thing, moving, buying, selling, whichever side you're on, February, March, April, May, now is the time to start those conversations with Sherry, and you can at least get the ball rolling, and she can take it from there, and you move on with life, but you're preparing in advance for that buy or that sell. Homeswithsherry.com, I-25 corridor. All the way down through northern Colorado, down to the Denver metro area, from the Denver metro back up north into northern Colorado. If you're out in Boulder way, out towards Aurora, the airport, all of those areas she can help you with. And she also has a free referral service. If you're looking in a different area, she can help you with that as well. Homeswithsherry.com, Sherry Cree, homeswithsherry.com, homeswithsherry.com. And be sure to tell her that you heard about it on this program. I know you will. Homeswithsherry.com. All right, a lot of fears are being talked about out there. Jimmy, you bring up a good point. I'm not really afraid of the dark as much as I'm afraid of what or who may be lurking in the dark. And clowns scare me that she doesn't like clowns. Or they don't like clowns. Barbara, I don't blame you, Barbara. I'm not a big clown fan either. I would say there's a fear. Does anybody? I don't like scary movies. Scary movies are childish to me. I know there's some grown-ass people out there that want to watch the scary movies. I don't get it. My son, fortunately, and his buddies never seemed to get into the horror flicks. I don't know if that's a Gen Xer thing. Are those still big for kids to watch the scary movies? I don't know. I will tell you this. When I was a senior in high school, so I was, 17, 18 years old. You think you're the coolest kids on campus right then. You think you're really pretty cool. And so my buddies and I, we went haunted house bouncing. They're haunted houses. We went to a variety of haunted houses, and we got scared. And I wasn't a big fan, but my buddies wanted to do it. They enjoyed it more than I did. But we did go to one haunted house. It was near where I lived was it's now called Madame Tussauds Wax Museum, but it was just called the Wax Museum. We had to go to all these figures of wax, you get the thing. So Madame Tussauds is the brand on it now. There was a haunted house in that thing. And you could never tell whether it was a wax figure standing there or it's a person coming to kill you. And I'm telling you, I might have been a 17, 18-year-old kid thinking I'm a pretty cool dude. But I scurried my hind end out the fire exit of that wax museum one. That was about the third haunted house of the night. I'd had all the scares I could take. I wasn't going to do it anymore, and I got the heck out of Dodge. Yeah, I was not going to tolerate that. But that was free, but it was not enjoyable. My buddies came out laughing and thought it was funny. I didn't think it was funny. Producer Chad knows them much better than I do, but I do know someone that is. They own one of the biggest haunted house franchises around, and I've never been, and I don't really have a desire to go. Why do I want to put myself through that? Anyway, your fears, your trepidations, I have to tell you, 29% of Americans are still afraid of the dark. Huh. I'm not afraid of the dark. I don't think so. Keep the lights on, Delina. Don't turn anything off over here. All right, 29% of Americans are still afraid of the dark, and 23% of men leave the restroom without washing their hands. I wonder if they're the same people. It could very well be. All right, don't be scared, my friends. Do not be scared. It's going to be okay. All right, I reminded you can join to win our sweepstakes. Producer Chad and I were talking yesterday. In the nenext couple of days, hopefully by tomorrow, we'll be unleashing a plan, a program, an opportunity, not just for you to go to win.riverspromise.org and win that beautiful vehicle I just showed you, but we're also going to give you a plan, an opportunity to partner with us as we now we're 2.5 months away from Christmas, the end of the year, and we start planning early for Christmas and the holidays and all the needs that we have at the end of the year with our kids in Rwanda. So I always mention, start saying your prayers, say your prayers, and be sensitive that in the next couple of days, weeks, you sense that little tingle like, yeah, I should give $10. Yeah, I should give $5. I should give $500. If you feel that, I want you to be open to that and sensitive to that, because we're going to give some opportunities. Last year, you remember, we did this show. We had just started this show nearing the 1-year anniversary of this program. We started the show. I did it from Rwanda. We showed you the shoes, the gifts, all the stuff, the work that we did there with my son at our school, Legacy Christian Academy. So it's about that time of year again, and that is going to ramp up. So anyway, just open your heart, open your heads, and hopefully, if you feel the right nudging, you will open up your wallet, and we'll make a big difference. And I'll be going there. I'm just over a month away from it, back to Rwanda. And I'll take you with me via the internet, via the show. We'll do the show as much as we can from there. If you'd like to go with us to Rwanda as a travel, we have a trip that's coming up in the month of February. I believe it's a public trip. If you'd like to go with us, it's a guided trip, and it's just reach out to us, info@jimmylakey.com, and we'll give the information to you. Anyway, donate, riverspromise.org, riverspromise.org. Just prepare yourself. I'm just warning you in advance, not going to surprise you, that we're about to give you several opportunities, several stories from Rwanda, talking about the impact we make. And all I can do is tell you the stories. All I can do is tell you it's what the good Lord's called us to do at this point. Somebody may be out there listening, go, why don't you take care of American kids? Why don't you do a veterans thing? Well, if that's your calling, you'd go do your calling. Don't judge my calling. Get the heck out of my business. No. You get the idea. This is what the good Lord opened up the opportunity for me to do, and put the passion in my heart. Never thought I would be considered, quote, a missionary, if you will, to Africa. But suddenly people call me that. Matter of fact, I could just note, I've had it here since Monday, and I keep forgetting to read. I just reminded myself. I don't know this person. If you're listening, though, I appreciate the note. They're from Kenya. I have flown through Nairobi. I have not spent an extensive amount of time in Kenya, but it says, greetings. We are following, watching, and listening to you on your Facebook page website from Kenya, Africa. Hello, Kenya. How you doing? We love Africa. We love Kenya. I'm partial to Rwanda, but I like Kenya. I used to always fly through Kenya and then catch a little plane over to Rwanda, but the flights for British Airlines changed and the schedules don't work anymore. We follow, watch, and listen to you on your Facebook page from Kenya. We really appreciate. I was in Kenya a year ago. We did a training with a lady and saw a school she was running. Willie, my main guy, and we were there. We were in Kenya for one day. We got in there morning, night. That's as far as out of the city I've been. We really appreciate you for such a great work you are doing serving God's people. We would welcome you to visit us in Kenya to share the gospel with our congregation and our community. It will be a great blessing to have you with your team. Come. Thank you so much. We're looking forward to hear from you soon as we work together to expand God's kingdom. And his name is Dennis Nagisa, chaplain and senior pastor. Pastor, I appreciate you reaching out. Let me get back with you. I'm not sure when I'm stopping through Kenya, but I would love to be wherever I can be. If the invitation's there, we'll figure that out. How about that? I did talk to my contact when I go there in November. We're thinking of doing a Christian businessman seminar, and I'll lead that. We're thinking of that in the month of November as well. So Pastor Dennis, I appreciate it. He wants us to come and share the gospel with our people, congregation, and our community. It would be a blessing to have you. Appreciate you reaching out, and hello to Kenya. Appreciate all of you doing that. Let's do the meme roulette. What do you say? We grab the stolen memes from around the globe, and we make a few funny jokes here and there, and you giggle, you chortle, and we're done. You ready for that? Let's do it. Now, round around the globe we go, where we steal the memes from. No one knows. Here we go. This is a little word of advice. If you thought wearing a mask into a restaurant walking 10 feet and then removing it after being seated kept you safe during COVID, I don't really care what you have to say about RFK Jr. Bingo card there. Let's keep going. Round around the globe we go, where we steal the memes from. No one knows. When someone tries to give me advice, this is the lady from the Golden Girls. When someone tries to give me advice, but their birth year starts with a 2. Yeah, shut the heck up. My birthday year begins with a 1. By the way, my birthday's less than a month away for those of you saving for gifts. Round around the globe we go, where we steal the memes from. No one knows. You got a guy wearing an I Am George Floyd shirt says, yeah, that's when you hit that 10th booster shot. That's what you turn into. Yeah, not good. Round around the globe we go, where we steal the memes from. No one knows. Steve Burton, comedian, I love him. Why aren't college campuses that demanded free Palestine celebrating? I suppose it's getting colder outside, so they're preparing for ice. You see what you did there? Little play on words. We'll explain it later, Delilah. We'll explain it later. Round around the globe we go, where we steal the memes from. No one knows. Speaking of clowns, hey, remember what happened on the 10th booster? This is the 15th booster. That's what happens. Young, healthy liberals, when that 15th booster shot comes out, all the clowns line up and they want it. By the way, my buddy Wayne Allen Root, who's a friend of Donald Trump, was very upset blogging last night that Donald Trump evidently has said he got the booster and the flu shot. And Wayne Allen Root says, I love the guy, but he's got to stop doing that. I didn't see that. Did not see that at all. But Wayne knows him very well. We got to Wayne on the show. Round around the globe we go, where we steal the memes from. No one knows. Before you judge a liberal, try walking a mile in their shoes. You see the theme we got going on here? There's Jasmine Crockett's shoes. Yeah. They're kind of bougie for her booty right there. That's it. Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez got those shoes on. Yeah. Round around, I feel like we're judging Ronald McDonald very harshly. Round around the globe we go, where we still need to know. I feel bad for my wife. She's in a never-ending war between I married my soulmate and I didn't sign up for this crap. All right, men, you know that's you. Your wife. Feel bad for her. Married my soulmate. I didn't sign up for this crap. I married my soulmate. I didn't sign. Yeah. Now, is that about you, or is that about she has multiple personalities? I don't know. Ray, Jimmy, you're doing what God has commanded. You're preaching the gospel. That's what we do. Again, I was the last guy that ever thought I'd be in Africa doing work, the Lord's work there. I didn't think I'd do it, but here we are. I'll do Kenya. I'll do some speaking in Kenya. That means we got to raise more money for the organization. Is what we got to do if I'm going to really start doing all that stuff. Even the business conference, we got to teach businessmen in Rwanda, different mentality. We're going to straighten it up. We're going to do that in November. Round around the globe we go, where we steal the memes from. No one knows. Ladies and gentlemen, the meme machine is milk dry like teats on a bull. We're done for the day. Everybody have a great day. We'll be back here tomorrow morning. It's hump day, halfway till Friday. Thursday, you know what that means? Good Lord willing, Jay Ratliff, aviation travel expert, will be with us. If you missed yesterday's show, go back and watch it. Seamus Bruner and Scott Walter both talking about the nefarious dark money networks out there. They booked into the show yesterday. It was great. Don't forget all the podcast platforms like us, Spotify, Apple Podcast, iHeart, all the podcasts. Go listen to this if you missed any portion of the show. We would love to have you there. Everybody have a great day. I mean this. Appreciate you being a part of it. And if you want to reach out to us and say hello, if you want to be a sponsor of the show, feel free to do so. You just go to info@jimmylakey.com, info@jimmylakey.com, info@jimmylakey.com. You forgot any of the links, anything, send us an email, info@jimmylakey.com. Hey, if you're listening overseas, if you're listening somewhere else like Pastor Dennis in Kenya, send us an email. Let us know, info@jimmylakey.com. info@jimmylakey.com. Appreciate you all. May God bless you. May God bless America. I am Jimmy Lakey, Jaime Lagos. Peace. I'm out of here.